Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. Earlier this week, I did a segment on defensive back recruiting. You can find it on YouTube, Hunt on LSU. Talks about Corey Raymond and LSU's pursuit of Jabari Antoine and Pickett and the DBs that they're pursuing. And there are some in the recruiting industry that don't think LSU is going to land either of those defensive backs, and we'll find out here over the next few weeks. And that's created a little bit of tension in LSU internet world. And I talked about that and kind of talked about the process of recruiting and how I just have a hard time bashing coaches based on one or two guys. If it's a 3-year problem, well, we've got a big problem. If it's a 3-guy problem, that may be individual circumstances. And I brought up the point that was made by Rick Neuheisel that Phil Knight is spending unprecedented and quote-unquote unlimited amounts of NIL money up at Oregon, and potentially could LSU lose some guys to Oregon because they can't keep up financially. And there's some things that are almost universally true in internet land, certainly message board land, Twitter land. And one of them is when your school is pursuing a player in the recruiting ranks and you don't get him, immediately 20 responses come in with, oh, they paid him more. Oh, they paid him. They bought him. In the old days, 5-10 years ago, it was, oh, they paid for him. They bought him. Now it's, oh, we can't keep up NIL, all NIL. And that's just the natural reaction when 99% of the time the fan has no idea what exactly happened. And I'm not pretending to know that I know how much Oregon's paying in NIL money, or I know that defensive backs are choosing Oregon because of NIL money. I just tied the two scenarios together, folks recruiting and committing to Oregon and Rick Neuheisel making that comment. So I'm aware of what I said earlier this week. But I do think that there are plenty of players who aren't simply looking for the biggest dollar figure. There are plenty that are. There are plenty that aren't. We talked about earlier this summer, the folks at On3 had a lot of elite-level prospects up for a week, and I believe it was Nashville. And they did a poll that was anonymous. Did you choose your school based on the highest NIL offer? Were there schools that you didn't pick that gave you higher NIL offers? And like over 50% said I didn't pick the school based solely on NIL, and over 50% said they got higher offers from other schools than they took. And I think that's true sometimes. Sometimes they want every percent they can get, and I can't fault them for that. Sometimes there are other factors. And I think as an LSU fan, you should sleep a little bit better at night about the two highest ranked recruits in the 2025 signing class at LSU, because I'm reading from an On3 report that was published by Pete Nakos, and he gave direct quotes from Bryce Underwood and Harlem Berry. This is Harlem Berry, number 1 running back in the country, right there in New Orleans, has never taken an official visit anywhere other than LSU, and has been committed to LSU for months, says, people think we don't give what people deserve, but really and truly, you get what you deserve. You really shouldn't be focused on money. You're just trying to ball when you go to LSU. That's the main goal, just being a team player. You want to win a natty with your boys. For those that don't like NIL and want guys that want to play for Old State U and want guys that want to be a part of a team and want to be in purple and gold and don't have any interest in testing the market and seeing what else is out there, this is your guy. Right or wrong, some people love NIL, get all the money you can get. Some people think it's terrible. If you're one of the folks that I hate NIL, Harlem Berry's your dude. Not testing the open market, doesn't care how much money Oregon has, Bama has, Georgia has, Ohio State has, Texas has. I want to ball. I want to go win championships with my boys at LSU. He's your guy. He's not a unicorn. That's just how he thinks. And his classmate in this 2025 class is Bryce Underwood. Think he could make some cash? Probably is making some cash. Think he could make more? Probably. But he said, and this is a direct quote, it's mainly about what I'm trying to get to. My main goal is the NFL, first draft pick. Money is going to be the last thing I'm thinking about until I get to the league. Just keep the main thing the main thing. Now, you could read that as he's using LSU as a stepping stone to the NFL, and all he cares about is getting to the league. Or you could say, this is a guy who picked a college based on his relationship with the coaching staff, potential NIL offer that they gave, fit, with the campus and that he enjoyed his time there, likes the players that are in his signing class, likes the development of the quarterbacks that have come before him, and the product of all of that will be the league, and he'll worry about money when he makes that second contract that Joe Burrow just got. But either way, I promise, not all these guys are money-hungry mercenaries. That does happen, but they're not all. And the cynicism that surrounds all this stuff, I wouldn't say it bothers me. It's just like, I just don't agree. And if you're one of those folks that immediately jumps to the keyboard every time LSU doesn't sign a guy and says, bam, NIL, we're screwed. This kid sucks. What a jerk. They're not all like that. There are plenty of guys that don't commit to LSU that feel this way about the school they committed to. And I know, again, to reiterate what I said at the top, I get that I said earlier this week that potentially Corey Raymond could form a great relationship and LSU could lose a player because of NIL money. But I said that based on some evidence of the player, the exact player I was talking about, saying my relationship with Coach Raymond is like none other. And the other quote that was Rick Neuheisel, who has some pretty reasonable contacts in the college football world, specifically on the West Coast, saying it's pretty well known that Phil Knight's throwing out unlimited NIL money. I'm just tying the two together. Not just immediately jumping to it every single time a player doesn't commit to LSU. So this segment kind of goes both ways. One, don't go nuts every time somebody doesn't pick LSU, but know that there are some that will, that are buying into Brian Kelly's graduate champions theory. And again, please don't suggest that I'm naive enough to think that LSU's not giving any of these guys NIL dollars through the collective. Quite the opposite. The collective just announced this week that they're ramping up fundraising. It's not to go on trips to Cabo. It's to keep players at LSU and to get them here. I get it. But it's not everything to every recruit. I promise. There's too much evidence to the contrary. Bryce Underwood, Harlem Berry, pretty good two dudes to have at the front of your signing class for your LSU as examples to some guys and as high-level, high-visibility prospects that could attract more to come into this class of 2025 that we all think is going to be top 5 signing class in the country once it's all said and done. If you're looking for LSU football content, Hunt on LSU on YouTube is where you can certainly find it each and every day. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.